guys, and welcome back to Linux Mate. Today we're going to have a look at something I've been working on for a little while now, and just wanted to give you a quick look at it. So this is an Arch-based Linux distribution that is really not much more than a fresh Arch install with some basic packages installed and a Calamares installer that is also part of the live image. So it creates a live image, an ISO file, and that ISO file can be either booted up in something like VirtualBox and installed into a virtual machine, or it could be copied to a USB flash stick and used to install on actual physical hardware. So I'd like to first give a shout out to Esnix and also Eric from the Arco Linux project for providing some awesome content that that is actually available on YouTube. That got me started and got me pointed in the right direction. And I actually borrowed significantly from one of Esnix's templates. What exactly do we have here? This is actually not AdelieOS that we're looking at here. This is my host system that's actually running Arco Linux. But we have a Git repository here, and this Git repository contains all the files that are necessary to build an ISO image that's based off of Arch Linux, that contains a specified list of packages that we've provided. And it before we go into and look at the structure of this repository and see exactly what we have, let's go ahead and build this ISO image and have a look at it in VirtualBox, and then we'll come back here and have a poke around to see what exactly makes up this this build and what's required to generate this ISO image. So this process is actually fetching packages from a custom Pacman Arch repository that's stored at AdelieOS.com. So it's pulling those packages from that repository, and that repository actually is I haven't updated it for a couple of days, so the versions of the packages that are in the custom repository don't exactly match what's currently in the Arch repository. So, and that's kind of intentional, because I think that one of the potential downsides that I've personally experienced, and although I've actually had pretty good luck with Arch, but I know that other people have reported experiencing issues where it wasn't really running that stable for them, and it would be running fine, and they'd run an update, and then it would break the system. And if they weren't particularly technically savvy or very familiar and comfortable with Linux, that's something that they may not be able to easily fix on their own. And so and that perceived instability really comes from the updates. When an update comes in, it might have something that doesn't this is not compatible with the way the current system is set up. And sometimes on the ArchWiki, they'll recommend or prescribe like manual interventions that you have to perform before installing a particular update. And the one thing about holding back the packages is it will allow us to do some things that intervene in situations where something might break a package, or something might more seriously break the system. I think that if we hold back the packages and we test them and don't roll things forward that aren't working for us and aren't working for testers, then you're going to improve the stability of the system. Obviously, there's a balancing act there because of security issues. I know that that was one of the issues that was discussed about Manjaro at one point in time, saying, that the vanilla Arch users were getting security updates faster than the Manjaro users were, and I don't know if that was actually a fact. I know that I've heard it discussed, but it's always a balancing act. But I think that if you hold things back just a little bit, and if you make sure that you let security updates through, that you're going to, I believe you could create a system that will be similar in stability to something like an LTS Ubuntu. Maybe not quite to that level, but certainly something that would be more stable than Arch, vanilla Arch. And so, but anyway, as you can see, the package is being built, and we'll go through exactly what's going on with this later. But first, we're going to I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and let this complete. All right, guys, I just wanted to check in with the process real quick to show you this part. The system is built the contents of the file system. It will go on the ISO, and it's currently creating that as a file system into this file, the airroot.fs file. So it's this process will take probably another 5 minutes or so, and so we'll pause the video and come back and take a look at it when it's finished. Okay, so the process is completed. As you can see, I've got an issue there with the script. It's trying to delete a directory that doesn't actually exist. So let's see, what do we have? The build process actually creates a directory here called reeling, and this was kind of the work directory for actually the work directories here, but it's kind of where the Arch ISO scripts sort of do their work. We won't look at that too closely right yet, and let's go to the out folder. And as you can see here, we have an ISO that was just created. I'm going to copy it up 2 levels. And I'll go up 2 levels as well. Here we go. And so I'm going to use VirtualBox to boot this up and sort of show you what it looks like. All right, guys, here we go. This is the AdelieOS ISO image that was built, and as you can see, it boots up to a custom AdelieOS Grub bootloader screen, and we've got the first option, the boot AdelieOS installation media, that boots into the live environment. The rest of the options are kind of self-explanatory. We won't go through them, so we'll go ahead and boot in. Have a quick look around. Even though this is in a virtual machine, it should still run pretty quickly. It's booting up into the Mate desktop environment, and Mate is quite a lightweight desktop environment. So this will boot us up into a login manager, and the username and password are both AdelieOS. And I need to change that to where it just automatically logs in on the ISO, because that's quite it's just not necessary. So actually, you can see it's a full-fledged Mate desktop, and it looks quite huge at the moment, and that's because the resolution is 800 by 600. I'm gonna go 1360 by 768. Apply that. That looks much better. Yes, we want to keep the configuration. And first of all, let's just take a look around real quick. There's not a whole lot that's installed, and that's by design at this point. There may be things on here that I eventually end up getting rid of, but there's the Mate terminal, and it's bright white, which I do not like. Let's change that real quick. That'll work. All right. And let's zoom this in a bit. All right, maybe that's too much. Let's just go with this. All right. If you do a neo fetch on it, you can see it is AdelieOS. It's running in a VirtualBox host, and it just it has the generic Linux Penguin branding over here because it doesn't have an AdelieOS graphic yet, but we don't really care about that yet. We want to install this, and as I said, it has the Calamares installer. That is the same installer that is used by Manjaro and many other independent distros, many other Arch-based distros. Even some of the Debian and Ubuntu-based distros are now using Calamares as well. So this installer definitely needs customized further. I've customized it just a little bit. As you see, this step is broken, which is okay. And I am in Brisbane, Australia, and Australian keyboard layout, and I'm going to use an empty disk. Don't care about swap, although swap does work. Encryption does work as well, but I'm not going to mess with either of those yet. And all right, create a user account. You can see this is the basic Calamares installer that you see on tons of distros. So nothing special about this. This is not customized at all yet. As you can see, we need a graphic here. And this Calamares installer needs a lot of work, honestly, but it does work, and it gets our bare bones AdelieOS system installed, and it does a very nice job. It's very customizable, so it's capable of doing anything that we need it to do, and we'll walk through sort of how this works, probably in a later video. We'll skim over it towards the end here, but yeah, we'll look at Calamares a little more in the future. So, while this is installing, we will take a break. The Calamares installer has finished, and the AdelieOS system is installed on the virtual machine. So we'll go ahead and leave this box ticked for restart now, and we will restart now. So this will once again boot to the ISO, but we want to we don't want to install it this time. We want to boot to existing OS, which is the OS that we just installed. And this is something we have not really customized yet. It still says Arch Linux because this is really basic at this point. An Arch installer with some, like I said, pre-selected packages. And yeah, so let's have a look at the boot process. This will bring up LightDM and the user account that I created during install, and we need to remove that AdelieOS login. But we will log in with the account we created. And here we are on Monte desktop, and once again we need to change the resolution to something that's not so gigantic. Keep those settings. And while I'm at it, this is just something that let's see, let's look at our dark theme. And I think that, that arc dark will be good. And let's pick the background. These are the default Monte backgrounds. I'll select that one. It's a nice dark one. That one's even darker. Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, what do we have? Like I said, this is a basic Arch system, and there's not a lot installed, but all the basics are installed. As you can see, go Firefox and Google. We can also open a terminal, do a neofetch. We can see that it's actually an AdelieOS branded distribution. So that's about all we'll look at here. I'm going to let's step through the what the actual build looks like. All right, so let's take a look and see what this is. This system is made of. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. That's the ISO I copied out. And this here is a temporary folder that's created for the work, and out, which is out is where the ISO has existed. But I'm just going to delete that as well and do it recursively. And now I think the only thing left that we have in here that we don't need is this railing folder, which is also generated after during the build process. So if you take a look to see what's here, we have a couple of config files that you can edit. I won't go through them exactly. There's a build script. This is what actually builds what actually puts everything in place to call the actual archiso build script. And then this CoreFS directory here represents the file system that actually not that here, but AirRootFS represents the file system. The stuff that we want to copy over the file system, over the or basically overlays the file system created by installing Archbase and installing the other packages. So if you want to do customizations, you can put files in here, and these files will be copied into the live ISO, and in the SquishFS image that you'll get that's used to install the system through Calamares as well. So I guess I'm in user. Local. Where are we here? Let's go back. And then we've got this. Let's see, this file here, which is the customized AirRootFS. This file has. Let's just do it. Okay, this file has basically sets up the live environment, and most of this is actually copied from Esnick's template. I made a few changes, mostly copying in the overriding the LSB release file with my own file, doing that to basically achieve rebranding. So when you do neofetch, it'll say AdelieOS and not the Arch Linux. And I changed the live username and password to AdelieOS just because I could. And there's where it creates the user account. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be throwing a lot more stuff in there in the future, although I think they may be deprecating that, so we may have to do some of that stuff through Calamares. The other thing we've got is the packages file. The packages, most of this was stolen from Esnick's template as well. I made a few changes. Actually, I don't think we're going to need to refactor anymore because we're using our own custom repo. There's definitely I don't want that, and I want to just Vim. Okay. There's probably a lot more of this stuff that we won't keep. I think a lot of it's essential stuff, but there's stuff here that we don't need. But yeah, these are all the packages that are installed. They're installed from the AdelieOS.com repo, which is basically a clone of the Arch repo at this point. The display manager, and then the Calamares dependencies. And the Calamares files are actually in the Etsy and the user folders here. So, and then this splash screen here, the splash.png, that's the splash screen that you see when you Grub boots up, and it says AdelieOS, and it shows the penguins. So that's just a quick look, and I'm going to make this repository public shortly, and also be debuting a website, AdelieOS.com. It's going to be pretty bare bones at first, but we'll just take it one step at a time and build it up as we go. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick look at the at what I've got so far. A lot of it, like I said, it comes from other people's templates, and I'm just using this as a learning experience. And I've never had built a distro before. Like I said, I played around with Debian's live build a little bit. Never really could get the kind of results out of it that I wanted. It was undoubtedly user error, but I couldn't get it to work nonetheless. So I decided to try Arch, and it looks like that we're off to a good start. So we got an ISO that we can build with our own custom packages using a Mate desktop and Calamari's installer. So that's going to be our base moving forward to try to put together AdelieOS distribution. So if you enjoyed this video and are interested in follow-up videos that follow this project as we proceed forward, then please like the video and subscribe. If you have questions, please feel free to comment down below. Thank you very much. See you soon.